evening. This is Primetime News. I'm Sonali Vanigabaduge.
And I'm Nadim Majid. Let's start with a look at the headlines.
113 MPs signed no confidence motion against the Prime Minister. JVP accuses group of loyalists of the former president of spreading anarchy in the country. Chief Minister of the Northwestern Province imposes a prohibition on the Education Minister.
කිසිම පාසලකට රටේ අධ්‍යාපන ඇමතිවරයා විදියට යන්න මම ඉඩ තියන්නේ නැහැ. පළාත් පාසල් වලට අපිට දැනටමත් යන්න පුළුවන්කමක් නැහැ.
On sports first, record-breaking performances from Sri Lanka's 4x100 meters men's relay team at the Asian Athletics Championships.
A group of UPFA MPs says that the no-confidence motion bearing the signatures of 113 MPs will be submitted to the Speaker swiftly. The Janata Vimukti Peramuna has accused them of dividing into groups and working with disregard for the needs of the people.
While a special sitting of Parliament was convened yesterday to secure approval for the 3 civil society representatives for the Constitutional Council established by the 19th Amendment, the House was adjourned without the matter being debated. While the opposition raised primary objections to the nominees, it also voiced its displeasure over the nomination of 2 ministers. Meanwhile, UPFA MPs who had been meeting at the Abhayarama till now addressed the media at the opposition leader's office today.
We are prepared to adopt the 20th Amendment as proposed by President Maithripala Sirisena through his program, and we are prepared to form our government. There is no need to bring opposition leader Nimal Siripala de Silva through a back door. He is not unqualified. We say that we are prepared to appoint him, adopt the 20th Amendment, and that this is the first time in history that a majority of 113 have signed a no-confidence motion and are going to submit it.
My friends, there are 2 groups in Parliament. One is the group that supports good governance. There is another group that prefers a kleptocracy. It is the section that favours kleptocracy that says it is all right to postpone the appointment of the Constitutional Council. They are trying to take as much time as possible to sabotage the principles of good governance and to rule the judiciary and police of this country. It is not the 6.2 million that is raising a voice today. It is the defeated 5.8 million. What sort of joke is this? How shameful is it for the country?
I do not know. All what I am doing is going to the temple. I have not gotten onto the political stage, and I do not know where I will stand when I do. They are trying to force me onto the stage. I am staying with much difficulty escaping these people. This is an amazing fear. Electricity and water supply is being cut off. We did not do this. I pray that anger, hatred and jealousy be eradicated from the minds of the leaders and that a true era of compassion dawns.
The loyalists of Mahinda Rajapaksa want to ensure that nothing happens in Parliament and that anarchy is maintained there. They think that the background needed for them to take over some sort of power will only be created through this anarchy. The SLFP is making calculations. The party is split and they want to see how they can rescue it. As a result of each of these people acting on their narrow agendas, the needs and aspirations of the common people are neglected. We say that there is something Mahinda Rajapaksa should do before preaching Maitri to others. He needs to preach Maitri to those surrounding him. We believe that he should give them a lesson regarding the vengeful manner in which they act.
Once an election is held, the UNP and the SLFP will govern this country together for 15 to 20 years. Do not have any doubts about this. President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe will join the hands of the UNP and the SLFP after the next election and hope to govern this country for several years to come.
Welcome back to Primetime News. Gayantha Karunatilaka, the Minister of Mass Media, says it is disappointing that politicians who suffered defeat are using places of worship to fulfill their political agendas. The minister made this statement at a press conference convened at the Government Information Department.
This is a very disappointing situation. In the guise of religious events, places of worship have been politicized to achieve political goals. We see that certain politicians are transforming the visits into meetings. I make this request from the respected Mahasangha and leader of the faiths. Do not allow places of worship to be used for political parties and politicians for their narrow objectives. We make this request from those politicians as well. Use other means to process with your political agenda.
Former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa says accusations made over the purchase of the MiG aircraft is a part of a long-standing attempt to sully his name and to cast doubt on his integrity. Issuing a communique, the former Secretary of Defence said that this is also a project to tarnish the war victory as well.
Former Secretary of Defence Gotabaya Rajapaksa issued a communique today explaining the MiG deal. Gotabaya Rajapaksa goes on to say that when the previous government decided in 2006 to purchase 4 MiG-27 aircraft and to get the 3 existing MiG-27 planes and 1 MiG-23 overhauled, Ukrenmash, the manufacturers of MiG planes in Ukraine, were directly approached. He goes on to say that in the letter of offer sent by Ukrenmash to the Ministry of Defence on the 6th of February 2006, it was specifically stated that the offer was being made in conjunction with a financier providing financing to the manufacturer and that the beneficiary of the letter of credit will be the financier. Former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that D.A. Pergudov, a director of Ukrenmash, has written to the Sri Lankan Defence Ministry explaining that Ukrenmash is a fully state-owned enterprise and that according to Ukrainian law, the establishment does not have the right to trade on credit terms and they cannot offer credit facilities for 2 years as requested by the Sri Lankan government. Gotabaya Rajapaksa goes on to say that when the contract was signed on the 26th of July 2006 for the supply of the 4 MiG-27 aircraft and the overhaul of 4 other MiG aircraft, there were 3 signatories, in which Belimisa Holdings Limited was the designated party which was to receive the payment. The former Secretary of Defence says that when the invoice for the purchase and overhaul of the MiG aircraft was sent by Ukrenmash to the commander of the Sri Lanka Air Force on the 31st of July 2006, it was specified that the Bank of Ceylon should open letters of credit in favour of Belimisa Holdings Limited. He adds that the UNP government of 2001 to 2004 had also made overtures to Ukrenmash for the supply of 4 MiG-27 aircraft, and in the letter sent by them to then Defence Minister Tilak Marapana, Ukrenmash had specified that the payment should be made to a finance company. Gotabaya Rajapaksa goes on to add that the method of payment laid out in the offer made to Tilak Marapana was word toward the same as made to him in 2006. He adds that when a state-owned enterprise in a foreign country enters into a legally binding contract for the supply of aircraft, the buyer has to make the payment as the seller specifies. He notes that the MiG aircraft were directly purchased from the manufacturers in Ukraine. The payment was made, the aircraft was delivered, and they were used in the war which was won, and that those aircraft are still in service. Former Defence Secretary calls upon the people of Sri Lanka not to be misled by the propaganda of interested parties who are trying to turn a lie into a truth by constantly repeating the lie.
The Ranbhoomi Rally for Unity, which is travelling across towns and villages spreading the message of peace and coexistence, reached its 84th destination, Akurasa, today. The Ranbhoomi Rally for Unity commenced its journey from Urubokka this morning amid the cheers of the public.
The people of Urubokka was enthusiastically awaiting the arrival of the Ranbhoomi rally, which is spreading the message of national unity to the country. The people accorded a heartfelt welcome to the Ranbhoomi rally, which is promoting unity, harmony, coexistence and sustainable development for a brighter future for Sri Lanka.
MTV Networks undertook such a colossal project in order to show the meaning of peace, harmony and national unity. This is a good opportunity to come together as a nation and as a country as well, and to respect one another.
The people who gathered to welcome the Rambhoomi rally value the national mission with an open heart. The people of Urubokka joined hands to etch the name of their town on the Rambhoomi monument and blessed the rally for its journey ahead. Rambhoomi rally then set out for its second stop of the day, the town of Morawaka, with the blessings of the people of Urubokka. The people have been a massive strength for the Rambhoomi rally since the day the rally commenced its journey from Taliamanna. The people of Morawaka too, who joined hands with great enthusiasm, marked the name of their town on the Rambhoomi monument. The Rambhoomi rally then proceeded to the end point of today's leg of the journey, Akurasa. The people of Akurasa welcomed the rally with a ceremony showing their support towards the mission of national unity, strength in peace and coexistence. The Rambhoomi rally neared Akurasa amidst the blessings of the people who lined up on the road to welcome the rally. Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Organisation, Kiruba Kumar, was also present at this occasion.
ඇත්තටම සිරස කරොත් හැමදාම කරන්නේ හොඳ වැඩක් තමයි. ඇත්තටම සිරස වැඩක් කරොත් පළවෙනි තැන. සිරසට අපි හරි ආදරේ සිරස වැඩසටහන් පමණයි බලන්නේ. සිරස තමයි නම්බර් 1ට තියෙන රූපවාහිනී නාලිකා. සිරස වැඩක් කරුවොත් ආයේ තාරුණ්‍ය නාලිකාව අපි හැමදාම සිරසත් එක්ක. ජාතික සමගිය කියන මාතෘකාව මේ වගේ ප්‍රචලිත කරන්න දරන උත්සාහය වෙනුවෙන් සිරස රන්භූමි වැඩසටහනට ශක්තිය ධෛර්යය අපි සියල්ල ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා.
The Rambhoomi rally was given an enthusiastic response by the people of Akurasa, who gathered in support of national unity. The Rambhoomi Rally for Unity, organised by MTVMBC, Newsfirst, the National Youth Services Council and the Colombo Port City, will mark day 29 of its journey across the island tomorrow. The rally will commence tomorrow's leg of the journey from Kumburupiti at 9 a.m. The Rambhoomi rally is scheduled to reach Mathura at 11 a.m. before proceeding to Valigama at 2 p.m.
Discussions are being held at present with regard to several no-confidence motions. What is a no-confidence motion and whom does it apply to? We posed these queries to Attorney at Law Krishmal Vanasuriya.
A vote of no confidence, there are certain provisions that apply in the Constitution with regard to vote of no confidence. The Article 48 also speaks of a no confidence motion or a vote of no confidence, where it says that for Article 48, sub-article 2 says that if a statement of government policy is rejected, or the appropriation bill, what we call the budget, is rejected, or if there is a vote of no confidence passed by Parliament on the government. There are several proposals or motions of no confidence that have been listed by the Honourable Speaker.
If a no confidence motion is defeated, what happens then? Attorney at Law Krishmal Vanasuriya explained.
In terms of Article 46 of the Constitution, in terms of Article 46, sub-article 2A, there is provision for His Excellency the President to remove a member of the Cabinet or the Prime Minister if there is a vote of no confidence that is approved by Parliament. And that has to go in the ordinary course for a vote after the Speaker listed for debate, and for a vote, and after the vote it must be passed, and thereafter only can His Excellency the President remove such a minister or the Honourable Prime Minister following a vote of no confidence.
The fundamental rights petition filed at the Supreme Court seeking bail for former Minister Basil Rajapaksa was taken up today.
The fundamental rights petition was taken up before the three-judge bench of Chief Justice Kesri Pavan, Rohini Marasinghe and Priyasad Depp. Today, facts were presented before the panel of judges in order to seek bail for the former minister. Attorneys presented facts separately on behalf of former Minister Basil Rajapaksa and the other suspects. The petition will be taken up again tomorrow.
Wife of former Minister Vimal Veeravansa, Shashi Veeravansa, appeared before the Police Financial Crimes Investigations Division this morning.
Police media spokesperson ASP Ruwan Gunasekar said that she was summoned to record a statement of assets which includes several properties. The FCID questioned Shashi Veeravansa for several hours until this evening.
Those lands were purchased before I became minister. That is the truth. They are attempting to find something and make an issue. That is the desire of Vikramasinghe. Some are attempting to use that desire as a threat. This complaint has been directed to the Anti-Corruption Committee appointed by the Prime Minister. A representative of Anura Dissanayake is also in that committee. That committee has directed to look into Vimal Veeravansa.
The Chief Minister of the Northwestern Province, Dayasiri Jayasekara, says he will not allow Education Minister Akila Viraj Karyawasam to visit any of the schools in the province. Meanwhile, Minister Karyawasam claims that he has already been restricted from visiting provincial schools due to pressure exerted by the Chief Minister.
Chief Minister Dayasiri Jayasekara declared open the new Mahindodaya staff room at the Mayurapada Vidyalaya in Narammala today. While no special ceremony was organized, neither the principal nor the students of the school attended the event.
Over the past several days, our Education Minister has constantly exerted pressure on the principal, telling him not to allow me to come here, not to let me open this, and that if it happens, the principal would face serious problems. Several problems were created over how I could come here without him being informed. The way I see it, this is not good governance. We wish to say to Ranil Vikramasinghe to please ensure that he brings up his follower with some humanity. From today, I will not allow him to visit any school in the Northwestern Province. As the country's Education Minister, I wish to say that I will prohibit it. No, I'm already unable to go to any of the provincial schools. As a result of his intervention, I'm unable to even receive an invitation and go to the school near my house in my electorate. What has happened here is not a similar incident. An event had been organized at the Mayurapada Vidyalaya in Narammala, and two of the people working for this event met with a serious accident and have been hospitalized with serious injuries. So the parents and a group of past pupils requested me not to hold the event at this time and to postpone it. If he is acting with disregard to that request, it is not a problem for me. I did not intervene in this matter at all.
The Sri Lankan record in the men's 4x100 meters relay was broken twice today. The Sri Lankan team achieved this feat in the finals of the men's 4x100 relay at the Asian Athletic Championships in Wuhan, China. The relay team of Himasha Eshan, Shehan Ambepitia, Mohammad Ashraf and Suranjana Silva clocked a time of 39.38 seconds to break the Sri Lankan record. They were placed fourth in the finals today. They clocked a time of 39.71 seconds in the heats this morning to break the record that was established in 2004 and later went on to break the record once again.
Last night on Primetime News, we brought you the first in a series of investigative reports into the spate of murders of women in the Kotakethana village and other parts of Kahawatha. This is the second part of that series.
This request was made by one of the suspects who was acquitted recently in the 2012 Kotakethana double murder case. A bustling and beautiful village, Kotakethana was the epitome of a peaceful village until the killings began. The spat of murders which commenced with the brutal killing of a mother and daughter has ingrained a sense of fear and suspicion in the people. While many people were listed as suspects for the various murders, the individual known as Kahabatte Nanda was arrested on suspicion of involvement in the 31st May 2012 murder of 2 elderly sisters. According to his family, Nanda had confessed to the killings and then committed suicide. His family gave us 2 letters allegedly written by Nanda prior to his suicide. One of his letters read as follows. Extract.
This cruel society has entrapped me as a murderer for no reason. I cannot face society anymore. The CID took me away and beat me up for no reason and entrapped me in the murders of these 2 women.
A second letter read as follows. Extract.
I did not kill Tilaka Punchi or Daya Punchi. The CID sacrificed another life and beat me up until I confessed.
When Newsfirst made inquiries yesterday from the police media spokesperson regarding the allegations of assault levelled by suspects who were arrested, released on bail and acquitted, he noted that the allegations are untrue. He added that if required, these persons could have taken action against such alleged incidents at the time it allegedly occurred. Recently, the Gene Tech Institute furnished evidence to the Colombo High Court which suggested that it is possible that the same person had carried out at least 6 of the murders. Gene Tech informed court that DNA evidence collected from 4 crime scenes where 6 women were murdered between 2010 and 2013 showed that in all cases the DNA belonged to a single individual. Gene Tech also informed court that the DNA sample did not match the DNA of any of the suspects who had been arrested and then produced them.
පැල්මඩුල්ල B347 2012 නඩුවේ චූදිතගේ ඥාතීන් මාව මුණ ගැහෙන්න ඇවිල්ලා.
The family of the accused in case B347/2012 in Palmadulla came to meet me and begged for her husband. He too was from Kotaketana and was a suspect in the murder of the sisters. But the DNA report shows that he is not a suspect. Unfortunately, he committed suicide, unable to bear the injustice done to him. The DNA evidence in the other cases too did not match the DNA of the suspects the police had arrested. In these cases, the women had been raped and murdered, and the male DNA collected from these crime scenes did not match the DNA of any of the suspects.
DNA ඒ නඩුවට අත්අඩංගුවට කිසිම සැකකරුවෙකුට අදාළ නොවන DNA.
Meanwhile, villagers say that 2 of the suspects who were arrested and later released on bail in connection with the murders have disappeared. They say that another suspect was hacked to death. There is still a question as to whether the DNA of these suspects was analysed.
Some said that the true murderer is dead. It was said that he had gone with them to show them a weapons cache and had committed suicide. No matter what the story is, if there are any remains of the deceased, it can be sent to the Gene Tech Institute for DNA analysis to ensure if it is the same DNA as the DNA in the Gene Tech database.
Gene Tech ආයතනයේ දත්ත බැංකුවේ තියෙන DNA කියන එක.
Brick by brick, our hearts become one. Rambhumi Rally for Unity. 4th June, 9 a.m. Urubokka. 11 a.m. Muravaka. 2 p.m. Akurasa. 5th June, 9 a.m. Kamurupitiya. 11 a.m. Matara. 2 p.m. Waligam. 6th June, 9 a.m. Gaur. 11 a.m. Hikkadu. 2 p.m. Ambalangu. Join us now for the nation's biggest rally for unity.
Welcome back to Primetime News. The Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, contacted President Maithripala Sirisena over the phone today. The President's media division said the UN Secretary General had praised the program initiated by the new government under the leadership of President Sirisena to safeguard the democratic rights of the people and foster peace and reconciliation among all communities in the country. Ban Ki-moon praised the adoption of the 19th Amendment and voiced his appreciation of President Sirisena's commitment to ensure its passage. The UN Secretary-General added that he is hopeful that the 20th Amendment too will be adopted swiftly, ensuring democracy and creating a new political culture for the country. For his part, the President's media division said, President Sirisena noted that he too hopes to establish a new electoral system in the country through the 20th Amendment and voiced his commitment to create a positive political culture through it. The President also noted that he is looking forward to attending the UN General Assembly in September and expressed his belief that he would be able to do so, having established a new government in the country. The UN Secretary-General had extended his best wishes to the President for the success of the program of the new government and offered his fullest cooperation.
The skeletal remains, suspected to be of a police officer missing since 2012, were discovered from the Ohia Forest Reserve in Bandaravilla.
Wildlife officers had come across the skeletal remains while on patrol yesterday. Investigations commenced after the police was notified of the discovery. An identification of the police department and clothes were found in a bag that was discovered close to the skeletal remains. The police identification card was of a police officer who was attached to the Sittakulam police in Vavuniya. According to the identification card, the skeletal remains are of Attanayaka Mudyansilage Gunapala Prasad Pushpakumara, a 48-year-old father of 3 from Talawa and Radhapura. The police sergeant was reported missing since the 17th of April 2012. He left for work on the 17th of April 2012 after the New Year holiday. This has happened while he was on his way. We tried to contact him via telephone, but it did not respond. We do not know what happened. We cannot believe this. Police say that an investigation is underway to confirm the identity of the remains and also to ascertain the cause of death.
We are hoping to refer the skeletal remains that were discovered to the judicial medical officer. We were also able to discover a letter inside a bag that belonged to the officer. Thereby, we suspect that this was a suicide. However, we will be able to confirm this subsequent to the JMO's report. In other local news, police have accelerated investigations into the rape of a 15-year-old girl in Kilinochchi.
The Chief Inspector of Police in Kilinochchi stated that the victim has been subjected to judicial medical examinations. The parents of the victim have lodged a complaint with the Police Child and Women's Bureau in Kilinochchi with regard to the incident. The suspects have fled the area and investigations are underway to arrest the suspects. Meanwhile, the 15-year-old suspect in the rape of a 7-year-old girl in Kilinochchi has been remanded until the 17th. The Chief Inspector of Police in Kilinochchi stated that the suspect was remanded subsequent to identification tests. Further investigations are underway with regard to the incident.
The aircraft, which was found at a warehouse at the Economic Centre in Narahenpita on the 3rd of January this year, was handed over to the Museum of the Sri Lanka Air Force today. It was handed over under the auspices of State Minister of Defence Ruwan Wijewardena.
The aircraft designed by Vidyajyoti Dr. Ray Wijewardena, which was the subject of much controversy in the recent past, was handed over to the Sri Lanka Air Force Museum following renovation. The family of Ray Wijewardena and a group including the commander of the Air Force were present at this occasion.
We hope and pray that inventors like Ray Wijewardena will evolve in Sri Lanka in the future. So we must, as a government, provide our fullest support to such talented designers. Because when we look at the Western countries, we see that their governments provide massive support for these inventors to present their designs. Sri Lankan engineer D.A. Karunadasa, who was abducted for ransom in Nigeria and later released, returned to the island today.
Karunadasa, who had served at an Italian firm in Nigeria for over 23 years, was abducted on the 18th of last month between the states of Kogi and Ondo in Nigeria. He was released on the 27th of May. Five men with rifles came from my right. They covered my face and started shooting. The ordeal did not even last a minute. When the driver was shot, I thought he was dead. Later I got to know that he had remained still. My face was covered all the time. They took me into the woods on foot.
Thank you very much. Secretary also has done a marvelous job for me to get my self-release, because they have increased pressure on the authorities to do that.
Meanwhile, a doctor suffered serious injuries when a jeep veered off the road and toppled over in the Dodangoda area on the Southern Expressway. He was admitted to the Balapiti hospital for treatment.
A According to police media spokesperson, the doctor is being treated at the intensive care unit of the hospital. The police said that the jeep the doctor was travelling from Galle to Colombo had come into contact with the safety barrier and toppled over. Another accident was also reported on the Southern Expressway today between Ambalangoda and Alutgama.
Walking through a party in the county jail. The prison band was there, they began to wail. The band was jumping and the joint began to swing. You should have heard the knocked out jailbird sing, let it rock. Everybody let it rock. Everybody in the wholesale block was dancing to the jailhouse rock. Spider-Man played it in a saxophone.
And that wraps up Primetime News for tonight. I'm Sonali Wanikapaduke.
And I'm Nadir Majid, leaving you with some food for thought that I shared with Sonali earlier tonight. Losing an illusion can make you wiser than finding a truth. Don't go anywhere. Vantage Point is up next. Good night and good luck.